21 is digging deeper tonight into parents who don't pay. Prosecutors and deputies spend a lot of money, a lot of their time and their resources, not on solving and preventing violent crimes, but on collecting child support.
In fact, hundreds of millions of dollars in child support is owed to single parents in Northeast Indiana alone. Money that law enforcement officials say you ultimately front some of the bill for.
Huntington County Deputy Tim Farthing is hoping to catch two deadbeat parents wanted on warrants for not paying thousands of dollars in child support.
The big problem really is not arresting them. It's
trying to find them.
It's a weekly task for the Sheriff's Department.
Huntington 35A.
With a frustrating success rate.
You just never know what you're going to get, because you can go out with 20 warrants and all, you can find none home or moved, or you could find 3 people out of the 20 warrants.
First up, Daniel Irvine, wanted out of Wabash County and last reported to owe more than $18,000 in child support. No one answers the door. We check around back and find a woman inside a van.
Do you know who lives there?
After looking over a mugshot, she thinks she's seen him before.
Is he the one staying upstairs?
He looks like one of them that goes upstairs.
But says he's already left for the day.
Would you let us know if he does show up?
Next up is Carrie Noonemaker. She's in the hole more than $47,000 for unpaid child support. A second deputy stands by the back of the house to make sure no one tries to run off. But no one's home, and without seeing someone inside, deputies can't do much else but try again later.
This is kind of the average child support warrant. No one's home?
Correct. Likelihood of finding someone home is very slim usually, or they won't answer the door. So.
Does that get frustrating?
Yes, it does. Just 10:24, no one was home.
In Huntington County, the average amount of unpaid child support owed is $7,900, though the highest amount is more than $87 grand.
Yeah, I had no idea child support was like that.
Huge business. Huge business.
Sheriff Terry Stoffel says the headache grows tenfold when deadbeats try to leave town.
Oftentimes when somebody is behind or in the rears in their payments, they think that if leaving the state is a way to avoid it. That, in turn, makes a lot of work for me because I just pulled a few off the top. We have, here's Atlanta, Georgia, here's Tulsa, Oklahoma, Punta Gorda, Florida, Newport, Richey, Florida, just all over the place.
Connecticut. And you have to go get all those?
We have to go get them, yeah. We have to bring them back and bring them in front of a judge.
Stoffel says they usually get a few days in jail for missing a court date, and then it's lather, rinse, and repeat.
They get released on their own recognizances, and 6 months later, we're back to Florida again, getting them and bringing them back.
And here's where your tax dollars really kick in.
We have a line item for just extraditions, and we usually eat that up pretty quick every year. So.
And how much is that?
$15,000 a year is what Huntington has, and oftentimes we run out of that, and then we're just kind of burdened with, we'll have to send deputies down, fly them down, or drive down and just go get them when that money's gone.
In fact, Stoffel says about 9 out of every 10 extraditions executed by his deputies are for parents who are not paying child support.
We're taxed, and the taxpayers are paying to run all over the country for mostly child support, felony child support. Yeah.
And your tax dollars aren't just going towards tracking deadbeats down. If they don't pay up, officials say you get stuck footing the bill.
One way or the other, it's a burden to the taxpayer, big burden.
A burden in the form of low-income assistance programs like food stamps, Medicaid, and welfare.
If we don't do this enforcement and get people to pay, those kids will fall through the cracks and be back on our welfare rolls and will ultimately cost us more money.
Allen County Chief Deputy Prosecutor Michael McAlexander says about 40% of his office is devoted to collecting child support.
We collect annually right around $40 million.
With between 19 and 23,000 active child support cases to enforce, the office rakes in about 65% of what's actually due every year.
It can be frustrating, but we've learned over the years that if you make an order reasonable that a person can meet, then it works better.
That still leaves the county and single parents with millions of dollars unpaid.
If we don't take care of this, it will ultimately cost the taxpayers more money in the long run.
The outstanding balance of unpaid child support in Allen County is more than $174 million. More than 5,800 parents owe more than 10 grand, and 33 parents owe more than $100,000 each.
Police have thousands and thousands of active warrants just in Allen County, and I don't think they have the resources.
Steve Ringenberg works in Fort Wayne as a private investigator. He asked us not to show his face because he still works undercover. We asked him to help us track down several parents with the largest outstanding child support balances in Allen County. But either no one answered or they weren't there.
It's common for them to move around.
Oh, yeah. See, notice I have a question mark here.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It might have been an old address.
Right.
Ringenberg says it can take weeks or months to talk to relatives and neighbors or stake out a home to find a deadbeat. Time and resources Ringenberg says the county just doesn't have.
Plaintiff can't find them, and finally they just give up, and that happens a lot.
So what happens if the county can find a parent, but they don't want to pay?
The goal isn't necessarily to fill up the jail with this. We'd rather that people cooperate and pay voluntarily, but if they don't, we will use all the tools in the toolbox.
A toolbox, Sheriff Stoffel says, is put to better use elsewhere.
If we're using our resources to do this, then we're not doing some of the things that we could be doing.
They brought them into the world, and they should take care of them until they can take care of themselves.
The Allen County Prosecutor's Office files about 2 to 3 arrest warrants per week for child support alone.
Response to that story was overwhelming. Today, it's one of the most shared Digging Deeper reports. We were flooded with comments, messages, emails, and phone calls. Our viewers sharing their own experiences with the child support system.
And in message after message, a recurring pattern. Deadbeat parents go weeks, even months, without paying a dime.
Yeah, then right before their court hearing, they offer a small amount of money and get out to walk the court free.
We call it the deadbeat discount. ABC 21's Alexis Gray explains.
Why did you scribble that out?
It's a school night in the Moorhead house. Homework assignments serve as a sobering reminder for Monica.
Let me see yours.
That she can't afford the calculators her twin daughters need for math class.
It's hard. It is so depressing. It is a very good word for it. It's depressing knowing that my kids don't have completely everything that they need.
Moorhead says she often goes without shoes to make ends meet.
We struggle all the time, but we do our best.
Moorhead shares custody of the twins with their father, who owes more than $7,000 in child support. This even after the county lowered his payments to just $25 a week.
It is insanely expensive to raise kids. And $25 a week, that's $100 a month to help raise 2 children. And it's not enough.
Moorhead says she's not getting any help from the agency in charge of enforcing child support, the county prosecutor.
They just want to get the hearing done and over with. It's supposed to be a 15-minute hearing. You're in and out in 5 minutes. They don't care. They don't show any type of compassion in the courtroom.
She says the twins' father has been in court 4 times now for not paying those $25 a week.
It's frustrating, it's aggravating, it's annoying having to go through this.
Each time, Moorhead says he pays a little bit down, far less than what he owes, right before the hearing, and walks right out the door.
The system is completely broken, and it would take a complete overhaul to fix it.
Sean Cook is owed more than $70,000 in child support. And Sarah Spice is owed more than $9,300. All 3 parents are familiar with the deadbeat discount.
A broken system that needs to be fixed.
Absolutely, it's flawed. You're not letting me down. They're letting all of these children down who need this.
No matter how many thousands of people we help, if we're not helping you, then you're going to feel frustrated and feel the system isn't working.
Allen County's chief deputy prosecutor defends his department's efforts to collect child support.
You would disagree with that assessment, that the system is flawed, needs an overhaul, and has too many loopholes?
You know, yeah, I would disagree. I mean, is it perfect? Certainly not. And it can be messed up on a given day. But it's also a system that takes a long view.
A long view that has 80,000 active cases on any given day and has prosecutors and judges weighing whether a child support offender or a violent one should get a cot in an overcrowded jail.
If the person walked in, hadn't paid a dime for a year, and then puts $200 or $300 down, the judge isn't going to put him in jail. I mean,
yeah, but that's exactly what
I know that's what's frustrating.
Is. Because so they feel as though the co-parent is getting off the hook for paying substantially less than what they should have been paying.
And they're right. But, okay, what is the solution to that?
He says the entire system is under strain.
We have a waiting list now on getting public defenders available to do the cases.
So what's the message to the families then, you know? Is essentially you saying you're on your own?
No, you're not on your own, because we have a lot of things that we're doing all the time on those cases.
There's no consequence.
Do you think that they take advantage of that? That they know about that?
Absolutely, they do. They do know. It's you can walk in with an excuse and a receipt that you paid that day, and they'll let it slide.
Cook says by not doubling down on deadbeats,
if all they're doing is paying, you know, $10 on a $50, $60 a week child support order, that's not really effort. That's more of a get out of jail free card. It feels like the state is actually rewarding them.
Whoops.
Moorhead and Spice agree.
What do you think the answer is?
Harsher punishments. Make it so that it has to be consistent between the court dates. Like, you pay every week.
Or else what?
Put them in jail.
It is frustrating for our people, too. I don't understand how you can have children and not feel an obligation to take care of them.
A frustration that takes away the most
I love you, Ross.
from those who can least afford it.